Skyler Jando, who portrays the role of Jimmy Olsen in James Gunn's Superman, stated that he thought he was auditioning for Superman. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Skyler Jando, who found fame for his roles in Licorice Pizza, Booksmart, and Vacation, auditioned for James Gunn's movie for a role he thought was that of Superman. It was a major boggler for James Gunn when casting came into question for his upcoming DCU project, Superman. Eventually, Gunn decided to go ahead with David Corenswet as Clark Kent, aka the Man of Steel. Of course, countless actors had auditioned for the role, and thousands more had been fan-cast as a potential replacement for Henry Cavill's Superman after his fallout from the DCU. One of these actors was Skyler Jando. No, the actor did not audition for the role of Superman entirely, but he believed that he was auditioning for the role of Man of Steel. Naturally, Jando was surprised when the reps called him to confirm his role in James Gunn's Superman. The actor thought that he had been selected for the role of the new Superman and was over the moon, until the curtain fell. "I thought I was auditioning for Superman. In my head, I was just like, well, I wouldn't have been my first choice, but James is always doing stuff outside the box." He continued. "I was like, oh great. And just to clarify, I know it's dummy sides. It's for Superman, right?" And the phone kind of went silent, and then one of them was just like, "No. They weren't dummy sides. It said Jimmy. I don't know, but it worked out." James loved that. So, Skyler Jando was indeed selected for a role in Superman, just not the role that he had hoped for. His dreams of Superman quickly took flight when he was cast as the Daily Planet's photojournalist Jimmy Olsen. When Collider visited the set of Superman, they spoke with Skyler Jando, who had been selected for a role in the movie, just not Superman. The actor revealed that he was confused because he thought he had auditioned for the role of Superman. The irony is that Skyler Jando had already been fan-cast in the role of Jimmy Olsen before the actor even auditioned for the role. Jando had become quite a fan-favorite actor for his boyish and slightly quirky nature, which seemed to go perfectly with that of Jimmy Olsen. His experience working on projects like Booksmart and The Righteous Gemstones also helped the actor find credibility as the reliable guy who would be everyone's best friend. Skyler Jando will be portraying the role of Jimmy Olsen in James Gunn's Superman. Being the best friend of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen is quite an important character in the storylines and provides the much-needed comedic relief in Superman's life. Even the actor stated that he and David Corenswet easily became pals while working on the sets of Superman and that he got an opportunity to see the human side of Superman via DC Studio Showcase, which created a sense of genuine friendliness and that best buddy feeling while working on the film. Knowing the humor and jokes that James Gunn often includes in his movies, it seems that Skyler Jando's Jimmy Olsen will be his outlet for the humorous part of his movies. Naturally, Skyler Jando as Jimmy Olsen might be James Gunn's best casting for Superman. Do you think Skyler Jando could have made a better Superman? Let us know your thoughts below. Superman director James Gunn has an update about the Batsuit in his version of Batman, and we think that the director will go for something simple. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. The director revealed to Fandango, via Variety, that he had asked DCU director Zack Snyder, who handled the DC Cinematic Universe before James Gunn, for help in deciding how to fuse the red trunks from the comic books into Superman's costume for his upcoming movie. DCU director James Gunn has an update about Batman's costume in the DCU after his famous talk with Zack Snyder about Superman's red trunks in his 2025 film. Although there is no final decision on what Batman's suit will look like in Gunn's DCU, the director confirmed that he was indeed looking at Batsuits from past movies and DC comics to get inspiration. Speaking with CBR, James Gunn said that he was a Batman superfan and far too confused to decide on a Batsuit. "There's no decision made about the costume at all yet. I like many different versions. I'm a Batman superfan. And so I like all the different versions of the Batman suit. I don't know what we are going to do. Fighting off powerful villains and enemies, the Batsuit is a crucial part of Batman, and it needs to be properly addressed in every DCU movie that comes. But we think that James Gunn has got it. James Gunn has the opportunity to start from scratch, and as a result, he can have any suit that he wants for Batman when the character appears in The Brave and the Bold." Although Zack Snyder couldn't offer much help to Gunn because he himself went without the red trunks on Superman in his DCU movies, Snyder did sympathize with James Gunn, who was taking on the project of a very big IP, Superman. I talked to Zack Snyder, who was like, I tried a billion different versions with the trunks, and at the end of the day I tried it, but I just couldn't get there. And I was feeling exactly the same way. After much back and forth, it was Superman star David Corenswet who literally saved the day by convincing James Gunn to just go ahead with the red trunks. That decision turned out to be quite an important one for Gunn to establish his DCU separate from Zack Snyder's DCU. Lee's concept for the Batman was more of a sleek pattern with the rain just rolling right off the edge alongside a more tankier build, white eyes, a broader Batman logo on the chest, and more durable without sacrificing agility too much. Hence, Lee's design is the go-to Batsuit that people have known and loved for years. On the other hand, James Gunn can decide to go all the way back to the original design of the gray and blue suit of Batman with nothing but a layer of cloth to help him out. Maybe Gunn wants Batman to evolve along the way and create better gear for himself in the DCU. Of course, James Gunn can always go with Jim Lee's Batman suit, which debuted in Batman Hush in 2004, which is considered the most modern look of Batman. Not in a technological way, but the Batman that we know and love has been inspired by Jim Lee's designs. The third option is the Batman Beyond suit. The darkest suit that Batman can ever design, the Batman Beyond suit, is a radical improvement over the traditional Batsuits that have been featured in the movies. A high-tech suit with glowing red edges and curves, the suit is better, more refined, and has everything that Batman could possibly need, like gliding, invisibility, and strength. Of course, James Gunn is also looking at these designs and wondering what kind of Batman he wants in the DCU. Personally, we think that the director would go for a simpler suit that can be refined and improved later on. It would be fun to see what James Gunn does with the DCU and how he can change the audience's perspective about these so-called gods and monsters. Do you think James Gunn's Batman will be the best iteration of the character on the big screen? Let us know your thoughts below. Skyler Jando, who portrays the role of Jimmy Olsen in James Gunn's Superman, stated that he thought he was auditioning for Superman. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Skyler Jando, who found fame for his roles in Licorice Pizza, Booksmart, and Vacation, auditioned for James Gunn's movie for a role he thought was that of Superman. It was a major boggler for James Gunn when casting came into question for his upcoming DCU project, Superman. Eventually, Gunn decided to go ahead with David Corenswet as Clark Kent, aka the Man of Steel. Of course, countless actors had auditioned for the role, and thousands more had been fan-cast as a potential replacement for Henry Cavill's Superman after his fallout from the DCU. One of these actors was Skyler Jando. No, the actor did not audition for the role of Superman entirely, but he believed that he was auditioning for the role of Man of Steel. Naturally, Jando was surprised when the reps called him to confirm his role in James Gunn's Superman.